This is a little sketch about selecting a site and the importance, to emphasize the importance of looking over the evidence that we have that we've given you for these sites. So if you go to the folder, the handouts folder that has the building shells, for example, and you open up the Arlington Street folder, we have AutoCAD drawings. Great, right? We also have images, and these are intended to provide evidence about what we know about the site. So here are a couple of drawings. First of all, generally, we have the Sanborn maps images for all these sites, and I should have put these in the folder, but let's copy this Sanborn, 75 Arlington Street. There's a fire insurance maps that explain a good bit about the building from the point of view of a Sanborn map, which can be found on mapjunction.com, City of Boston, one of the many repositories of building information. So let's see what this is telling us about the building. It's telling us that the building's 125 feet tall and has stairs, 1, 2, 3 locations, elevators, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Looks like there might be an elevator in there as well. There's this intermediate space between the building adjacent to it, right? So this is all important information to absorb. 10-story building, 125 feet tall. So all these maps, if we were to line them up on top of each other, they should agree. We also have a CAD drawing. I've cleaned up this CAD drawing, but I'm going to open from that location. Not drop boxes. We want handouts, building shells. Come on. 75 Arlington Street, AutoCAD. So, there's a larger drawing here that has a lot of stuff in it. Right? And again, you examine it to extract the information you need. You know, I know there's a lot of drawings here, but really all we're looking for is a general floor plan. So if you zoom in on this, you can see that even though it's an upper floor, it explains the same stuff that we're looking at if we were looking at any of the other floor plans. See the stair locations are in the same place, elevator locations are in the same place. Sanborn map. This file, by the way, also has a number of layout tabs, which presumably were organized by the author to explain whatever fit-outs they were doing. Anyway, I took one of these drawings and extracted it and removed extraneous information so we'd have this excerpt. I'm going to take then that drawing, which is now in my documents folder, go to building shells, Arlington Street, I'm going to stick it in here as well. So we have an excerpt. If we're modeling in Revit, we have this imagery that we can't quite see. So we started, let me remove this stuff as well. All right, so we have a grid, walls of a given thickness. We decided to generalize the thickness of the wall to 36 inches, and then we went around the perimeter so that we could draw the openings. I'm going to insert into this view a link to the CAD file that is in fact that excerpt. Find it in my documents. '75 Arlington excerpt, and just place it here. Okay. When you place the link in AutoCAD, it is pinned, so you have to unpin it in order to move it. And I'm just going to move it and line it up with my grid. So we're going to stagger it a little so I can use the Align tool. Modify, Align to that grid line, the AutoCAD, and then to this grid line, the AutoCAD. So now the CAD underlay is basically about where it belongs. If I go to a default 3D view, and reveal, I think, imports, let's go to visibility graphic, make sure we can see underlays. Yeah. So you can see the CAD drawing is sitting underneath it. Right? So this is telling you stairs are here, stairs are there, elevators are there, there's a main stair in the middle. We're on the second floor, so this is a stair going down. Let's go to a top level 1 floor plan. So in the separate lesson I modeled the exterior openings. Let's go and enclose the stairs. So we got to decide on a thickness for the walls. Annotate, let's measure. Okay, it looks like there's some massive walls over here. We're not going to be overly concerned. That's 5 inches. Let's decide on a 12-inch thickness for the walls. So it's much thicker than we need. Well, let's say 6 inches. So architecture, wall, generic 6-inch wall will do. We're going to base constraint level 1 up to level 2. We're going to use, instead of the center line, finish face exterior, so we draw in a clockwise direction and start drawing around the perimeter of what we see as the evidence of the enclosure of that stairwell. Right? It's that simple. I don't care how that it isn't the thickness of that wall and this wall is thicker than that wall. I'm just drawing the enclosure for the stairwell. If I go to a 3D view again, that's what I've drawn. Enclosure for the stairwell. If we're doing elevators, same deal. Wall. Clockwise direction. There's my elevator. Where else is there an elevator? There are elevators over here. There's an elevator bay of sorts over here. Let's draw. We can draw from the column. All right, I missed it slightly, but who cares? Clockwise. That's going to be my that elevator bay. Again, elevator bay, yeah. Elevators. So, this is simple for the upper floors because it's simply covered. It's a 10-story building of the same thing. These are vertical enclosures, right? I didn't draw. Did I draw the stair enclosure there? No. Let's do that. Wall. I'm using 6-inch walls for now. Okay, so this walls coincide with the elevator wall. But I can change the thickness if my program or something that I'm doing requires that I change the thickness. And then there's a central stair. This is a little more complicated because if you've been to the building, you understand that we're looking at the second floor, right? This is a glass enclosure. And on the first floor, that enclosure opens to a lobby, which leads to an exit at the front of the building. And so that entire system has to be 2-hour protected. If I were simply to draw the enclosure, again, just draw around the perimeter. Okay, so there's something slightly different going on level 1 here, because this is an open stair until you climb up into the opening in the floor slab that lets you into the second floor. But for now, I'm just generically identifying those vertical 2-hour enclosures. Go to 3D view again. So there's a stair in there, there's a stair back here, there are elevators here and here and here. And that should correspond with the image. If I were to take this Sanborn image and bring it in as an underlay, right? Let's create a duplicate of level 1. And I'm going to insert an image this time. Let's put everything in my documents folder so I have it handy. Just copy it into my documents folder. So if I want to bring in the Sanborn image, you need to rotate it, right? So let's draw a line and see approximately how much we need to rotate it. So a line drawn that way. Draw another line let's measure 18 degrees, right? Let's take that, twirl it, 18 that way, and then we need another 90, right? Because we're orthogonal to Arlington Street. Rotate 90. Now it's correctly oriented, but it's not the right size, so we need to measure from one end to the other. The simplest thing to do is going to be to take a measurement from the end point there. Let's see if we can contrive. If there's nothing to snap to, you'll need to draw a guide. So let's do that just so that we save time. Annotate detail line. So there's one corner. There's the other corner. Now we can measure between those two lines. $235 Scaling is similar as SketchUp. The scale tool measures something of a known, so that's only 142, but we know it needs to be 235. We type in the value, 235, so now this is the right size, right? Let's just remove the AutoCAD underlay from that and put this thing behind it. And if we see, we just kind of move that into place. It's a little large in terms of scale, but there's stairs, elevator, stairs, elevator, roughly in the same place. We have some scaling issues. Let's move this upwards. It needs to shrink a little bit. Let's do it numerical. Say 95.95. So that makes it a little bit smaller. I know that it's not an exact science right now. We're trying to understand how this building is laid out. Stairs, stairs, elevator, elevator, stairs, elevators together, etc. Okay, so that's our evidence.